The smell of cigarette lingered in the air, curling through the room like an old memory she could never escape. Wine sat in the far escape of her cramped apartment, cigarette loosely hanging between her fingers, her gaze fixed on the city lights below. She didn't need this one, at least not technically, but her nerves begged for it anyway. Every inconvenience, no matter how small, felt like a blow to her chest, pulling her back to the nights where her world was a storm of yelling voices and slam downs. She remembered those nights vividly, when a 12-year-old Vine sat on the edge of her bed, knees drawn to her chest. She hated it when they fought. Her parents, the screaming, the shattering of dishes, and worst of all, thick suffocating silence that followed. Her chest heaved as her breathing quickened, and the walls of her room seemed to close in on her. Her hands trembled uncontrollably as she clutched at her bedsheets. Her vision blurred with tears. It was another anxiety attack. Her heart pounded so loud it drowned out everything else. She tried to breathe, but it felt like there wasn't enough air in the world. It happened often, too often, and no one ever noticed. One day, she found an old pack of cigarettes her father left behind during one of his angry outbursts. The first drag burned her throat and lungs, but it also quieted the storm in her head. Over time, the cigarettes became her escape, her lifeline. Jungkook, another one? Jungkook's voice broke her thoughts as he stepped onto the fire escape, his brows furrowed with concern. He looked devastatingly good in a plain white shirt and black slacks, his sleeves pushed up to relieve his inked forearm. Ryan, it's been a long day. He leaned against the metal railing, his gaze sharp but soft as the edges. Dangerous combination. Jungkook, every day is long for you. Maybe it's time you stop letting a cigarette solve your problems. Fine. You don't know what happened. It's okay. Fine. Let me guess. Your boss said something annoying? Your coffee order went wrong? Or wine? The printer jammed. She finished dryly, cutting him off. He chuckled. It was so predictable of her. She made herself used to find her escape in cigarettes at every minor problem. Wine turned her face away. blowing out a puff of smoke, but Jungkook wasn't done. JK, when are you going to let me be your distraction instead? Fine, you're too much work. JK, am I? He challenged, his voice turning deep. Before she could respond, he reached out, plucking the cigarette from her fingers. He brought it to his lips instead and took a drag, his dark eyes never leaving hers. Fine, Jungkook, she gasped, her heart racing. JK, relax. He exhaled the smoke away from her. He tossed the cigarette to the ground and stomped it with its boot. JK, tastes like crap, by the way. Wine. Then why did you? JK, because he interrupted, stepping into her space, his face now inches away from hers. JK, you need to know there are better things to be addicted to. Her breath hitched as his hand slid the small of her back, pulling her closer. His lips were so close she could feel the warmth of his breath. Wine, like what? She whispered, her voice barely audible. JK, me, he said, his lips brushing against hers in a way that left her trembling for a completely different reason. It wasn't rushed, it was slow, passionate, and all consuming. His lips moved against hers with an intensity that made her forget everything: the past, the fights, the pain, even the smoke addiction. When he finally pulled back, his eyes were dark, filled with an emotion she could not name. Take it, see? Much better than a cigarette. Wine, you're crazy, she said with flushed cheeks. JK, and you are stubborn, but I'm not giving up on you until I'm the only one you crave. Wine, tried dropping it before. Never works. But if I mess up again, JK, then you mess up. He kissed her again, fingers locking in her ear. JK, and mess up again. Kiss her again. Every time he repeated telling her to mess up, he left a kiss, getting her to desire his lips more completely, forgetting about the smoke. JK, until I'm all you want. She licked her lips, her heart racing. They might have kissed a lot of times before, but this was something different. This felt like her safe place, her salvation, something she needed to hold on to escape her pain. Fine. Are you sure you can handle me, Captain? He smirked and placed his hands on either side of her, his eyes boldly staring at her, drinking her in. Take it. Watch me. And there she knew she was completely sold.